What's going on, guys? Back at it again with another video. This one is going to be a lot different than I've done on this channel in the past, and that is, of course, what is in my wallet for Q2 of 2023. If you guys can see right here, my main wallet of choice. I do rotate wallets every quarter, so next quarter you guys will see me using a different wallet. Perhaps it'll be a different setup, perhaps it'll be the same. Stay tuned, because you never know what I'm going to go with next quarter, of course. But for this one, of course, I'm using a Tom Ford wallet. If it decides to, there you go, a Tom Ford wallet. But the only thing in my wallet right now is my Arizona State driver's license and my military ID. And you're probably wondering, this is a what's in my wallet video, but there's no cards in my wallet. What's going on here? Well, of course, I didn't want to give any spoilers in this specific portion of the video, so you guys are gonna have to stay tuned if you guys want to know what cards are in my wallet. But I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. If you guys want to know, we're gonna jump right into this. For the first card in my wallet is actually gonna be my catch-all card, and that is the Fidelity Rewards Visa by, of course, Fidelity, but issued by Elan Financial Services. This card is essentially a catch-all card for this quarter's setup. Just to be clear though, this setup is going to be very obscure, very different than your average setups that you guys probably are used to seeing. I kind of bloom out of the usual, setups for the most part, and we'll start with this one, of course. Like I said, this is my catch-all card. It's a standard 2% card, cashback card for every single purchase whatsoever. It's a great card, great catch-all. The only caveat to that is that it has to be deposited into a Fidelity managed account, like your brokerage account, your cash management account, etc., etc. Right? There's multiple ways you can redeem your rewards on that, but it has to be in a Fidelity account. You can, send that cash onto external accounts, of course, but primarily to redeem, it has to be directly to your Fidelity account. So that's a downside to that, but it's still a great card nonetheless. It is important to note too that this card has a tiered system. At its fundamental basic portion of this card, it is a 2% cashback card. If you have anywhere between $250,000 to $1 million, your 2% cashback will be increased from 2% to 2.25%, which is fantastic. If you have anywhere between $1 to $2 million managed under Fidelity, of course, that 2% will end up being a 2.5%. And if you have 2 million plus, that 2% will end up being a 3% cashback card, which is absolutely fantastic. It's extremely similar to Bank of America's tiered system, which we won't get into in this video, but it's extremely similar. The only difference is that Fidelity's version is extremely expensive, so most people won't be able to take advantage of the reward plus for Fidelity. Moving on, however, the second card in my setup is actually going to be the USAA Cashback Rewards Plus, if it decides to. There we go. Cashback Rewards Plus. I think this is an absolutely fantastic looking card. Love the way it looks. In terms of the reward system for this specific card, this card gives you 5% back on all of your gas, up to $3,000, alongside with military base purchases. So military base purchases and gas gets a combined $3,000 per year of cashback rewards, up to, of course, which is not a lot, but it is a pretty good amount. Personally speaking, I don't think I even use that much in gas every single year, so it ends up being pretty decent for someone like me who doesn't drive an extensive amount per year. It is also an Amex card, which, of course, Amex is a great payment processor, if you will. The only problem is a lot of places don't accept Amex, of course. So even though this is my primary gas card, it isn't the only one that has options for gas, which we'll get into in a second. But to go a little bit further into the rewards of this card, it does also give you 2% cash back on groceries up to $3,000 of purchases yearly, just similar to the gas, of course, but except it's 2% cash back. I don't use it for that. I just use my catch-all for that if I'm gonna go that route. But It's like I said, this is primarily just my gas card. And then as far as everything else, it's going to be just a standard 1% cash back on all other purchases. But like I said, this isn't my only gas card, because the next card in my setup actually is the M1 Owner's Rewards card by M1 Finance. This is powered by Deserve and issued by Celtic Bank. This is a fantastic card, probably my favorite card in my entire lineup of credit cards, if I'm being completely honest. It is a fantastic card, up to 10% cash back in certain things like Netflix, Adobe, which I use, of course, AMC theaters, and etc, etc. So this card gets used quite extensively. But in terms of gas, as I was saying in my previous card, this is also an alternate gas card for me, because certain gas providers, if you will, give you 5% cash back on this specific card. Places like Chevron, Texaco, BP, and etc. This card will give you 5% cash back in those places. So this is a great card. It gives you a tiered system, if you will, depending on if you are actually invested in the companies that are offering these cashback rewards. Of course, I have a pie that in my M1 Finance, which is of course an investment platform, and I'm invested in every single company in here, but in a very, very small amount. I only have like $1 invested in all of these, unless it's a company I believe in, then I have more, of course. But it goes from 10% to 5% to 2.5%. And then of course, everything else is 1.5% cash back. This card is primarily, if I'm being completely honest, my grocery card. And that is mostly because this card gives you 2.5% cash back at Walmart, which is where I do the majority of my grocery shopping. I know it's kind of weird to go to Walmart for grocery shopping, but that's actually where I go to go grocery shopping. And fundamentally, I don't really need much more. I don't buy a super huge amount of groceries anyways. I actually get my groceries delivered. But there's that. But it's a great card nonetheless. I do have a referral link down in the description down below. If you guys are interested in joining M1 Finance as a brokerage, you guys will get a little bonus if you guys join via my link. So something to consider if that's something you guys would like to do. However, this isn't my last card in my setup, because the next card that I have is the Discover It Cashback card. This is in the raspberry color, I believe is what it's called. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Great card all the way around. For those of you guys who don't know, the Discover It card is a 5% cashback card, but based off of rotating quarterly categories, which for quarter 2 of 2023 is going to be at restaurants and wholesale clubs. For those of you guys who don't know, of course, this is going to be my restaurant card, which I eat out quite often with my kids. So this will be seeing an extensive amount of use this quarter because of that. So very basic, simple, 5% cashback card rotating categories in restaurants and wholesale clubs. So I might go to, a Costco that's nearby just to, take advantage of that 5% cashback. And as far as everything else, I believe it's just a 1% cash back. The good thing about this, and the main reason why this is in my setup, is because I'm still within that 1 year of opening of this card, meaning it actually doubles all of your rewards throughout the entire year. So if you've gotten, say, $100 of cashback rewards for the entire year, they will match that and give you an extra $200 or an extra $100, making your initial cashback rewards from $100 to $200 of cashback rewards for the entire year. I can't say this enough. This card is absolutely fantastic in general, but in the first year of using this card is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend this card. Go for it if you guys think you guys would use it. The last credit card in my setup is actually the Yotta credit card. This card is really, really fun to use if it decides to, to focus. This card is absolutely fantastic, guys. Basically, for those of you guys who don't know, Yotta is a savings bank or fintech company, if you will, that essentially rewards you in lottery type tickets for every $25 that you have saved in Yotta. So for every $25 you have saved, they give you a lottery ticket, essentially lottery. It's not really a lottery, it's more of a sweepstakes. So that's the way that they get away or get around all the legalities behind it. It is FDIC insured, just so that you guys can be, have a little peace of mind if you guys decide to join. I do have my link or my referral code down below. If you guys decide to join, you guys will get, I believe it's like 500 extra tickets just for joining and depositing $25 into that account. Please use my code. No pressure whatsoever, but if you do, I get another 500 tickets as well on top of that, so we can both play the game together. This is a fantastic card, but the cool thing about this specific card is that you have a 1 in 100 chance that whatever purchase you decide to put on this card will essentially be covered by Yotta themselves. Absolutely fantastic. And if you have direct deposited, which I do, that gets increased. Your chances gets increased from 1 in 100 to 1 in 75, I believe, chance of getting your purchase covered. I have had a few purchases covered by Yotta. So cool, so much fun. I highly recommend this. This is 100% my coffee card. Because it's just fun to know whether or not I'm going to be getting a free coffee, because I do drink coffee daily. So the chances of me getting a free coffee is actually pretty fun. I don't spend more than $100 a month in coffee, so it really doesn't get heavy use in terms of monetary usage, but it does get used every single day, mainly through my Apple Wallet. But it is a great card nonetheless, especially if you want to have fun while improving your credit. One last thing to note about this, that this doesn't actually show up as a revolving line of credit in your credit report. That's because Yotta reports this as essentially as a loan, so you can have a little bit more of diversification within your credit report. So that way you have your credit cards of revolving lines of credit, and then you have your loan via this. Great, card and fantastic idea from Yotta. I really like this card. I really like Yotta in general. I do keep my emergency fund in there. So I'm always playing their little lottery type thing all the time. And I have won quite a bit of money just by having money sitting in my account. I really recommend it, guys. If you guys would like to use it, again, my referral code is going to be down in the description down below. I hope you guys use my code if you decide to join. That way we can both get a little rewards from that, of course. But that's not everything in my wallet, of course. I do have one more card, and that is my USAA debit card. This card is a debit card. Nothing spectacular. Of course, they recently had a refresh, so it looks a lot different than it used to. The only reason why I have it is just in case I have to withdraw some money out of my account, of course, via ATMs and stuff. That's the card I use. They do reimburse, I think it's like $5 or $5 or $10 or something like that a month in ATM fees, which never gets used anyways, except I did use it literally just today. My ex-wife essentially took my kids on a short trip over the weekend, and just to help them out a little bit in their little trip, I gave them the $100 that I usually keep in my wallet. I gave them the $100, and I took out an additional $100 out of my bank account, and I gave them $200 so they can enjoy their weekend a little bit better with that money, of course. So I might actually be using it one more time just so that I can replenish the cash that I usually keep in my wallet, because I usually keep about $200 in my wallet just in case, say I go to a concert or whatever and I have to pay for parking fees. Of course, I will most likely have to pay cash in that situation. Therefore, I like to have cash sitting in my wallet. Not a lot, just $100 for any situation like that. But that's gonna go ahead and do it for this what's in my wallet video, guys. I know it's a very obscure setup. Probably you guys have never seen a setup like this before. I have two credit cards that are tied to brokerages, which is very interesting, of course. Two great cards, I might add, that are attached to brokerages. But I absolutely love this setup. It's not the setup that I use every single quarter, but I do use it, or a variation of it, quite often. But if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely do me a huge favor, drop a like on this video. Also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, because it really does help this channel grow. So with that being said, definitely catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.